There's 2 things I wanna show you, and both of these things involve RFK Jr. being a total 100% boss. I absolutely love it. I saw both these clips on X, and both of these have millions of views. The first one has to do with RFK Jr. completely obliterating Kamala Harris in public. Absolutely wild. I saw this from Holden. And the second one has to do with President has to do with President Trump, diplomacy, foreign affairs, and it's just a great story coming from RFK Jr. And I know a lot of people are still kind of on the fence. They don't know how they feel about Kennedy being on the transition team. They don't know how they feel about possibly voting for Trump. And here's what I'll tell you. In the same way that Kennedy says, if you want to see him back in DC, consider voting for Trump. The way that I see it is I don't see it necessarily as voting for President Trump directly, but indirectly voting for Kennedy, voting for Tulsi, voting for Vivek, voting for Musk, voting for Vance, and voting for this team of people through President Trump. So I love that expression. And that's how I'm thinking about it. That's how I'm going about it. That's how I'm finding a lot of confidence in this moment. And I know a lot of other people are. So that's just what I'll say. I know a lot of people are also considering voting for the Harrison Waz ticket. Totally, totally fine. That is your prerogative. Anyways, I'll stop yapping. I'll share this clip. I love these videos. Check it out.
Tell the truth when we did something wrong. So one time I hit a baseball through my mom's window and broke it. And my dad said to me, before you answer this question, I want you to remember what George Washington did. He cut down the cherry tree. This is a story every American knew at that time. His father asked him, who cut it down? And he said, I did. He always admitted when he was wrong. And now the Democratic Party has given us a loophole around that mandate. All you have to know is 7 words, and you never have to admit to doing anything wrong again. And do you know what those 7 words are? I was born in the middle class. Oh. So repeat after me, I was born in the middle class. So the next time your boss asks you why you were late for work, what are you gonna say? And the next time your wife asks you why you didn't take out the garbage, what are you gonna say? And the next time your landlord asks you for the rent check, what are you gonna say? That's all you have to know, and you don't have to answer any question. And we know why she didn't want to answer that question, because there's no good answer to it. By every indicia in which we measure the welfare of our economy, the Trump administration excelled, and the Biden-Harris administration has failed us. Inflation on average during the Trump administration was held under 7%. Now it's at 20%. Gross rents have almost doubled. Mortgages have more than doubled in just 3.5 years. Groceries have gone up. Gasoline has gone up. Electricity has gone up. Healthcare has gone up. Do you know the only thing that's gone down? Wages. So though that is not a success story, and I don't blame her for not wanting to answer that question. It was a question that was almost impossible for her to answer truthfully and still walk out of that debate.
I love this so much because Kamala Harris has such a problem with communicating, and she does stick with these rehearsed lines, and she's catching so much flack for saying that she grew up a middle class. But I feel like what Kennedy did here was so graceful. He even got the audience to come in and chime in and say, I was born in the middle class. It almost felt like we were in church for a second. And the pastor tells you, look to your neighbor and say this and repeat after me. I loved it. But even then, here at the end, he talks about how it was an impossible question for her. It's impossible to answer honestly and still win the seat. But if you can't answer honestly, then maybe you don't deserve to have that seat. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe do what Trump did. Okay? Take the next 4 years, refine your skills, refine your position, continue campaigning, continue talking all across America, talk to voters, and come back in 2028, be part of the primary and see what happens. Okay? That's kind of what I'm seeing. Okay, if you don't win and you still wanna be president, you know what else too? I was just having this conversation with someone, and they were talking about Kamala Harris, and they were saying, "I feel like Kamala Harris just wouldn't like being president. I feel like she would be miserable there." And I thought that was such an interesting observation, and I really agree with it. You know, like, this whole avoiding the press, avoiding reporters, like, not wanting to speak with just the American public. How are you gonna handle the office of presidency if you don't wanna communicate with people? If you don't want to explain where we are and where we're going? To me, it's giving Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton hated people. Hillary hated talking to people. She hated actually being out there, and I remember Link Lauren was talking about being on the same flight with her and saying that her husband was just there being around people, smiling, talking with them, and it was great. And she was just right there looking so upset, absolutely hating life. And he said, well, honey, that's why he was president and that's why you lost. And I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And it couldn't be more true. Now, the second clip that I wanted to share, absolutely fantastic. You're going to love it. Check it out.
So we had to expect that they would do exactly what they told us we were going to do. And if you go into Ukraine with NATO, we're going to go to war. And 2 days before the invasion, Kamala Harris went to Germany and said definitively, for the first time by any US leader, we are moving NATO into Ukraine. And that is something that we all need to understand, that provocation. And I was so proud of President Trump because everybody says that he alienates people all over the world. He doesn't know how to be a diplomat. But he was the epitome of diplomacy, and I urge you to go look at the YouTube. He was kind and civil to President Zelensky, but he was also firm in his resolve. And he said, I've had a nice meeting, but I have not changed my mind. We need a peace, and we need to do it very quickly. And we need to protect US interests, not an interest of a country in which we have no strategic interest and no treaty. And he was polite, he was kind, but he was firm in protecting our country. And that's what Donald Trump will always do. And
Firm, polite, kind, strong. I love thinking about these characteristics that we see in a leader, and I am in a complete agreement with Kennedy, and I'm also in agreement that I believe that that person for this season, I do think that person is President Trump, but I'm also open to other people's interpretation, right? If you look to Kamala Harris and you feel fulfilled, you feel like your strength is restored, you feel like she has the capacity to talk to Zelensky, to talk to Putin, to actually have some sort of agreement made. By all means, my comment section is at your disposal. I'm always looking to engage with people. Just today, I was actually engaging with other people because they're saying that I say Tim Waz's name wrong. They say it's Waz. I got like they say it's pronounced Walls, and apparently the way that I'm saying is Woz, Waz. And in my mind, I'm like, we're saying the same thing. You know, like it's like these are two different things, but in my mind they're the same exact thing, and I'm genuinely confused. I feel like I'm saying it right, so this might just be an area where we disagree. Tim Waz. To I don't know. To me, I'm reminded of Steve Waz or Steve Wozniak, actually. You know, the guy from the Apple, the the person who essentially co-founded Apple with Steve Jobs, the brains. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble because people call him like Woz. And maybe that's my problem. I don't know. Anyways, I totally didn't want to bring that up at all, but I did think that was a quick interjection speaking about the civil disagreements that we have here. And I love that. So whether you're for Kamala, whether you're for Vance and Trump or Waz, whoever you're for, whatever team you're for, let me know in the comment section. I love talking about it. I want this space to be a space for everyone, and I love seeing comments that say, "Oh my gosh, like I like this guy. He's so unbiased." I just saw a comment like that, and then someone else responded to them. He's like, he's not completely unbiased. I said, "You're absolutely right. I'm not completely unbiased, and I've never claimed to be unbiased. I have my biases, but I try to be clear about where I stand and my influences." So, and today I believe I was influenced by these words from Kennedy. Today I was influenced by Vance, but I've also been influenced by Waz in the debate yesterday. I feel like I see him a bit differently now, and I have a little bit more respect for the Democratic Party. So, anyways, let me know what you think about all this. I know kind of a weird conversation that we had here today. I kind of went off the rails for a little bit, but let me know what you think about this, and I'll see you all next time. Hope you have a good day. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate your time so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to support what we're building here, please like and subscribe. It means a lot and it really helps us out. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on there. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.